Hi there, my name's Alex, and this year my aim is to get closer towards my goal of becoming a homesteader. Now, the historical North American definition of homestead is an area of land, usually 160 acres, granted to a settler in the West as a home. But what I am referring to and what I want to achieve is becoming a little more self-sufficient by growing some of my own food, keeping bees and harvesting honey, cooking more from scratch, and in general just learning more about the land where I live. Over the past few years, I realised that involving myself within projects like this helps me understand natural processes and makes me learn so much more about the cycle of life, which is why this year I want to do more of it. This is where I'm going to spend most of the next year. It's my parents' house, which is a little north of Brighton in England. I am very grateful for them letting me stay here. In return, I have to pay a small amount of rent, and also I've agreed to cook food for them as much as possible. It's a good deal, I think, as this beautiful place is surrounded by fields and woodland. We are blessed with quite a beautiful view just outside the back door, overlooking a couple of fields and further on a forest, where we often see deer, owls and many other animals. Here in South England we have a temperate climate, which means winters are cool and wet and summers are warm and also quite wet. And we don't often experience extreme weather conditions like droughts in the summer or extreme snow in the winter. However, the last year we did have an incredibly dry summer and temperatures over 40 degrees were recorded in the UK. But because we're near the sea, I think that evens things out a bit and we just don't get the extreme conditions like you see in continental climates. It's a wonderful place, it really is. My mum and dad said I can stay here if I help them out with stuff, like dismantling this old gate and cutting it up for firewood. They want me to be of use. Oh, fire extinguisher. That is cool. Wait, what is that?
I don't know. It's a powder.
It's a powder. I was about to spray it at the camera.
It said on the dial that it was empty.
We should have tried it on the fire yesterday. That would have been fun.
Well, that would have put the fire out.
In case you're wondering why we've got all this ply that we've cut up for firewood, it's because I had loads of offcuts from when I did my van conversion, lots of awkward shapes, and it was taking up loads of space in my dad's garage, so we needed to cut it all into firewood shaped pieces, and we're going to use it to keep the house warm a little bit this winter. Being 24 years old, I certainly feel the instinctualness, the feeling of wanting to move away from my parents. You know, however much I love them and spending time with them is great, I feel like I need to be a little bit more independent in life. But looking at the current state of house and rent prices, it's simply not possible to do that just yet. You know, maybe one day this YouTube channel will blow up and get loads more views and my honey business might expand and one day I might be able to do that. And that certainly is a big aim and a big target for me long term. For now though, I'm going to make the most of what I've got, which is a small section of garden over here, which is going to be dedicated towards my beekeeping projects. A small space on the patio where I can grow vegetables and maybe some fruit. A room upstairs in the house, which is mainly for storage, like storing my beekeeping equipment. And also I might do some indoor growing things in there. A bedroom, which I'll also use as my office, where I will edit my videos. And of course the kitchen, where I'll do plenty of cooking. The other day I was carving up a turkey and I chopped the end of my thumb off. Hopefully it will grow back. At the same time as working on all these projects, I want to film everything with this camera to document the whole process. I find it incredibly satisfying being able to see the whole story from starting something to finishing it and all of the trials and tribulations in between. And what I enjoy most is sharing these videos with people who can maybe find some inspiration in them or learn something new as well. So this year will be a mix of plenty of outdoor projects and outdoor work, and then also quite a lot of office work editing the videos and putting them together to upload onto YouTube. My dad here is a gardener. He's been a gardener most of his life, which is good because he can teach me stuff about gardening. We got some daffodil bulbs and these pots that are going at the front of the house. When will they ripen? When will they sprout?
The daffodils will be fully ripe in February or March, depending on the weather.
February or March, these things will turn into yellow dwarf narcissus titi atiti. I believe these will also offer some early pollen, maybe nectar for my bees in the spring as well, because these, in February or March, that's before most flowering bushes like blackthorn and blackberry and that stuff. So maybe it'll help my bees as well. While you're putting loads in.
Because they're not permanent, they're only in here till they flower. Once they flower, we'll take them out and put them in the garden. We can cram them in and have the biggest, best, most ridiculous display.
It'll just be a big
massive yellow. It'll be a big yellow thing.
So is there much technique to this?
No. Pointy side up.
Yeah, like a rocket.
But to be honest, if you just threw them in and covered them with a bit of compost, it wouldn't make much difference.
They want to grow, don't they?
They do want to grow, yes.
They're not like sheep, which apparently want to always die. From each one of these bowls will be one flower, or are there
several.
Multiple?
Several.
Multiple flowers from
Usually
one?
several.
Wow, I thought it was just one. Ta-da! Might not look like much now, but in a few months, stay tuned for future videos where we'll see them all flowering, and I think it's going to look beautiful. So I'm quite pleased that my dad is a gardener, because I want to learn more about gardening and growing my own food. And although my dad mostly grows stuff for its nice looks and for its flowers, the same sort of things apply. You're still growing things. But my personal projects in the garden this year will be growing vegetables and maybe some fruit and herbs. It kind of goes hand in hand with the beekeeping. You grow plants, they flower, they help the bees and the other pollinators. It's like everything's connected. As you can see, my dad likes plants. There are plants kind of everywhere. And I promise you, when this garden is in full bloom and is looking at its best in the spring and summer, I think it does look quite amazing. My dad has been a garden designer and gardener for most of his life, and he's done like the Chelsea flower shows and the other ones like that. So he does know quite a lot about plants, and I'm very grateful to be in his company a lot of the time whilst I'm living here, because I can learn lots. This is his orchid collection. He is a bit obsessed, and this one's starting to flower. Look how beautiful they are. They're kind of intriguing, and you can see why insects want to pollinate that. All these orchids will eventually go outside in the spring next year, and then my dad said I can use that to grow some of my fruit and vegetables. So I'm going to, I think, grow some courgettes and cucumbers in there, and also, there's a horse, and also some herbs and some other things.
So that kind of sets the scene for where I will be residing this year. Some of the projects I will be attempting this year are beekeeping. I started keeping bees in 2021, but I wasn't a very good beekeeper for the last year, as I went traveling quite a lot, which meant I lost a number of swarms. Ideally, I will inspect my bees once a week, and the aim is to harvest some honey at the end of the year that I can then sell to the local people and also some of the viewers of this YouTube channel. I'm going to do some vegetable gardening. I've done a little bit of this on and off for the past few years, and this coming season I plan to grow a number of different crops in containers on the patio. Strawberries, potatoes, sweet corn, cucumbers and herbs are just some of the things I'd like to grow. But the first projects of this year will include quick turnaround crops such as mushrooms and microgreens. I grew mushrooms for the first time 1 year ago, and I couldn't believe how quickly they grow. It was fascinating, and I want to do more of that this year. I might even make a mushroom growing tent in my bedroom. And also, microgreens are basically very young plants that are very healthy and tasty. They can be harvested in a matter of weeks after sowing, which means we should have some food grown pretty quick. Something I learned last year is that meeting up with people who share similar interests to mine is one of the things I enjoy most about life. So as well as my home projects this year, I want to spend a little bit of time traveling across the UK and meeting up with other people and learning about their stories too. I'd also like to do a little bit of abroad traveling and meeting up with people in Europe. I've actually been invited to meet up with a family who have a truffle hunting business in Croatia, so that will be something to look forward to this year. And if any of you watching have an interesting project or hobby or business that you'd like to share, definitely get in touch, because I want to spend as much time this year meeting up with other people and sharing ideas and learning. I'll leave a link to my Instagram in the description below, as that's probably the best place to contact me. And something completely unrelated, I want to learn and get better at skiing. I went skiing for the first time in Austria a few weeks ago, and although I was absolutely terrible at it, I really enjoyed it and I want to get better. It's such a fun thing to do, sliding down a hill in the mountains. I think there's some places I can practice in the UK. I think in Scotland they actually have some ski resorts, so I might do some practicing in England and then ready for next winter where I'll go somewhere mountainous and snowy and go on a proper skiing holiday. That's got nothing to do with my homestead projects, but it's something I'd like to achieve and do more of. So there's my plan for 2023. I'm excited to see how it goes, and I can't wait to keep learning, meeting new people, and working on all these projects this year. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Subscribe to not miss the next episode, and I hope you enjoy following along on this journey, and I'll see you soon.